Forget about learning characters, forget about tone drills. You just started self-studying Mandarin Chinese. Are you wondering what you should actually be doing? In this video, we're gonna cover two main points that'll radically speed up your Mandarin Chinese acquisition. Hi language people, and welcome to the LinkSpark channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about two things that aren't being talked about a lot, but that you should avoid at all costs when you start self-studying Mandarin. I'm also gonna tell you why this is, and explain what you should be doing instead. Tip number one, wait with the characters. The first essential thing you need to do is to wait a bit with the characters. Why is this? Well, it's because languages at their core are spoken things. Now, traditionally Mandarin teachers put a lot of emphasis on the characters, and Mandarin students, as well as Chinese children, are often put to work from day one, copying out characters by hand. There's a reason for it. Basically, it's the only way to get 20,000 characters into your skull in any reasonable amount of time. Wait, what? Did you say 20,000? That's a lot. But writing in Mandarin is super fascinating. In China, people speak a variety of dialects. It's far from certain that you will be able to understand someone from another region. But because of the writing system, you'll be able to write to them and communicate. Modern Mandarin Chinese only has around 1,200 permissible syllables. This means that if the vocabulary contains more than 1,200 one-syllable words, which of course it does, then we'll end up with a ton of words that sound the same. And we do. This is where characters come in to save the day, because they all look different. So even if the words sound the same, you will still know the meaning of them. Wait, didn't I just say that you shouldn't bother with characters? Yeah, that's right. Because as a beginner, you won't have enough vocabulary to run into any of these problems anyways. Confounding homonyms and such, they will only start happening to you once you can actually start having longer conversations with people. Like when you meet new friends and ask for their names in Mandarin. But as a beginner, this is just gonna bog you down. I mean the homonyms, not your friends. And also, there's another common way to resolve the synonym problem. We'll cover that at the end of the video, so stay tuned. So, your first 3 months of learning Mandarin, forget about the characters. Remember, there's one crucial difference between you and a Chinese 10-year-old who's cramming characters for school. She already knows how to speak Mandarin, and you don't, yet. For her, the difficulty lies in remembering what Chinese word the character refers to, what the character looks like, and then the stroke order. You will have to learn all of these things, plus the meaning of the Chinese word, as well as the sound of that word, and the tone. So for now, just chill with the characters for a little while, okay? What should you be doing instead? You should be using pinyin. Now, pinyin is a writing system based on the Roman alphabet, but for writing Mandarin Chinese, don't worry. I'll leave a link in the description below that'll take you to a blog post explaining everything about pinyin, including how you can learn it in a weekend. Tip number two, learn tones in context, or you'll end up sounding like a robot. Wait, what am I talking about? You see, linguists have this way of distinguishing language features by finding minimal pairs. This means that if two words differ by only one sound feature, then that feature is important to meaning, and it isn't just a quirk of pronunciation. Like sit and seat, they differ only in the vowel sound. On the other hand, nasalization is not contrasted. Fine and fine, they still mean the same thing. So what if there are more than two words who are different in meaning but different only one way? For example, by having different tones. Well, then we're dealing with a minimal set. One minimal set that gets used so much in Mandarin classes that it's almost a cliche by now is mother, hemp, horse, scold, and question mark? Or in Mandarin, ma, 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 and ma. This set is useful for demonstrating the different tones, summarized as they are in a nice chart and all, but there's a danger of fixating too much on it in this form. You see, sounds aren't always pronounced the same. To understand what this means, think of the English phrase, I do not want to do a lot of stuff. I am kind of tired. Well, if you say it like that, you'll sound a bit robotic. What most people would actually say is something like, I don't want to do a lot of stuff, I'm kind of tired. So you see that learning to pronounce each sound perfectly in isolation is only really good up to a point, and that point actually arrives pretty quickly. From there on, it's better to learn sounds in context by picking up on how they get mushed together, stretched, mutated, or deleted. It's the same with tones. While the minimal set of mas is a good starting point, don't dwell on it for more than a few weeks. After that, you should start learning in context. There are two main ways I want to recommend doing this. First, practice compound words. Even on the level of compound, sound changes will occur. Something as basic as 你好 or pinyin don't really sound as the separate words 你好because of a tone change, or pinyin because of nasalization and consonant deletion. 这样 will sound like 这样 in just moderately rapid everyday speech. Just like in English or any other language, the process of fluent speech makes itself heard. For a longer Chinese example, I learned this lesson the first time I tried to pronounce the end station of the Taipei MRT Blue Line, 南港站南广站. Or when I tried to say an adverbial like 据我所知, try to say this word individually and you will mess them up. They need to be learned as phrases, as compounds. Which brings us to secondly. And once you're a little bit more advanced, learn phrases. Phrases are great. You can think of them as templates for social interaction. In practice, fluent speakers improvise a lot in conversation, but it's also true that they improvise based on patterns. For example, most people wouldn't go into a coffee shop thinking, I want and not me want, because it has to be in the subject form of the first person singular pronoun, and then want and not wants because that's the third person singular form. And then I need to say a cup and not the cup, since the cup is being mentioned for the first time. After which, there's a preposition of, and now let's see, what do I actually want? What most people actually do is take a phrase like, I want a cup of blank please, and say, I want a cup of tea please, or coffee or whatever. So in Chinese, you say, 我要一杯茶，谢谢. What tones was that? Who knows? As long as it's right, it doesn't matter. Okay guys, so there are some bonus tricks you can use when you interact with people speaking Mandarin. Compound words. The solution to knowing what character a speaker means if it's not clear from context is by using compound words. For example, 是什么红？红色的红吗？不是，是哄睡的哄。Basically, is it the Hong of color red? No, it's the Hong that means flood. So, this is something you can do even if you don't know how to read or write characters. But honestly, these situations where synonyms become an issue usually start to appear a little bit later in the learning process. So don't worry too much about it just yet. Remember how I said that compound words are also great for learning tones? You see that in Mandarin, because of how the writing system works and because of how the sound system works, compounds come in really useful for multiple reasons, which is great for you as a learner, as you'll kill two birds with one stone. But don't actually go killing any birds though. This video contains a lot of information. If you liked it and want to go over it again in written form, click on the link in the description below to read the accompanying blog post. Or have a look at the list of references used to make this video. For more upcoming videos on Mandarin and other languages, subscribe and all of that, you know the drill. Thanks for watching and see you next time for more on language.